Do not try to scale your real estate deals using your personal credit. This is one mistake why you and most investors keep getting denied for capital as well as funding. I know it sounds crazy. I know you're wondering, then how in the world am I supposed to do it? Don't worry, I got you. Because in today's video, I'm going to show you why this happens and how to actively fix it to help you get the funding so you can get approved. So what I want you to do is go grab your pen and paper. And without further ado, let's dive in. All right, business owners. So I just want to talk to you right now, just one-on-one, because I've been seeing this day in and day out, but I've also been seeing this at least a few times a week. When it comes to real estate investors, they're always maxing out their personal credit to get deals off the ground. And sure, it might actually get the ball rolling for the short term, but here's the problem. Your credit utilization makes up 30% of your personal credit score. So just to give you an example, if you have a $10,000 credit card on the personal side and you're carrying a $7,000 balance, where are you at? Yes, you're at a 70% utilization. Even if you got $50,000 sitting in your account, some underwriters and lenders do not care. All they see is someone who is over leveraged and they're relying too heavily on credit, and that makes you a potential risk. And banks and underwriters are not in the business to be in something that is super risky upon them. They are trained to see what your utilization numbers are and to see where you are as far as a warning sign. And if you hit that warning sign, I'm telling you right now, you will be denied. You're going to see that stamp right there. Well, it's 2025. They don't do stamps anymore, but you get what I'm saying. You're going to get denied, which I'm pretty sure you probably did already. Because let me try to put it a little bit more into perspective. Imagine trying to add weight to a bridge that's already creaking. Doesn't matter how strong the structure looks. If the support beam maxes out, you're not getting access to that, okay? I don't even know if that makes sense, but I just wanted to say that because it just came across in my head. But that's exactly how lenders, view your high utilization, all right? It doesn't matter how much cash flow or income that you have. If you're personally over leveraged, you're not getting capital. So when you go in there, you walk in there and say, hey, business give I'm trying to get, $40,000. I got $30,000 in the bank, let me get that. And they're going to say, no, and I give you $500 credit limit. You're gonna like, what am I gonna do with that? Exactly. You got to go back to the drawing board. Now, for all of my people that are saying it's not my utilization, I'm looking at my utilization. I'm below 30%. I'm good, but I'm still getting denied for funding. I'm not understanding why. This is the second major reason as far as why you keep getting denied. And this one's going to surprise a few people that don't know. Even if you have a strong credit profile and your utilization is low, your business entity itself is the problem. And I know some of you are like, what in the world are you talking about? I'm talking about specifically your LLC structuring and your NAICS code. Because again, if your LLC name or NAICS code had anything to do with real estate, for example, like Bob's House Flipping LLC or the 123 Realty Investments, I've seen I'm not gonna say I've seen all of it, but I've seen a lot of it. You're automatically throwing yourself into a high risk category. Most banks and lenders have an internal bank tier system, and real estate is on the high ranking side. All right. So investing in land, real estate, anything like that is a high risk zone. So especially for new business owners, because they have too many investors that default during bad markets. And now they're being extra cautious. And then on top of that, let me add a cherry on top. A lot of people that are getting business funding are making it worse because not even in the real estate industry, they're seeing a lot of defaults and collections rise. So they're extra tight with their money. So you think having a business entity just because you thought it was special and it was unique and you put realty in it or something like that, that's what stopped you from getting capital. So again, when underwriters see that LLC with a name that screams anything of real estate or your NAICS code that directly identifies with a real estate investor, developer, or anything of that nature, you're already on your back foot, okay? Your back foot. And they won't dig deeper. They're not going to go, they don't have to do anything else. And I'm talking about the underwriters. They'll just move on to the next person that's a little more safer. That's why even investors with solid income and great utilization still get denied for business funding. And it's not always about your numbers. It's about the risk signal that your business identifies as far as sending and asking for capital. Does that make sense? So here's what you need to do instead. The first thing that I need you to do is get your personal credit utilization below 10%. Now, I know a lot of you are like, yo, I've already invested. I don't have that kind of money right now. Well, you're going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to lower your utilization so you can be able to borrow on the business side. Again, it makes up 30% of your personal credit. So if you get that down, even if it's just temporary, you're going to be able to access way more on the business side that's going to actively help you, and you're not going to have any issues moving forward. Because that's the sweet spot, okay? I know a lot of lenders, a lot of people, and you were taught, keep it below 30%. That's the best thing. Guys, you're playing at a different ball game than just a normal individual that just has a 9-to-5. No disrespect or anything like that. But if you have your utilization at 30%, that's not always the best, because 30% is too close to 50%. 50% is too close to, you don't know what you're doing. So we're just going to go ahead and deny you. But when it's at 0 to 10%, you got to understand that you look, as far as to the lender's eyes, you look mature, you look responsible. You're not living off of borrowed money. Even if you are, you're not making it seem that way. Because if you have over $50,000 in available credit, that means that you're keeping your total balances under $5,000, ideally under $2,500. Let's be real. So that's one move alone that you can make that will be massive, as far as when the underwriters look at your credit profile and how they actively view you. Because again, they want to lend to people who have breathing room and not people who skating on the edge. They really only want to lend to people that look like they don't need the money. So that's just kind of what it is. And it's no point in, griping, getting upset. Don't hate the play, hate the game. So learn how to play the game, move accordingly. Now, the second thing that I need you to do is you need to change that business name, okay? I know that that's your baby, the Lord gave it to you in a dream and things of that nature. You're going to have to try to change it up, okay? I'm not trying to change what the Lord said, but I'm just saying you got to have a generic name, because something that doesn't obviously signal real estate is what's going to get you the capital that you're looking for. So that means in your name, that means you need to have no flip, property, realty. You don't even need to have street names that look like housing developments, okay? And I'm talking about like 123 Carroll Lane or something like that. No, that screams realty, because that's what a lot of people do as far as putting single family homes, duplexes and everything. They'll put in an LLC name that just actively has, that address, okay? But if you're trying to get funding for that LLC or corporation or anything like that, you're going to have to change that to a generic name. So use something like ABC Holdings LLC, JM Enterprise. And JM, I'm talking about, just your initials, the person that's watching this video. Use something like that, all right? Because something that actively flies under the radar. I'm not telling you to lie, but you just have to play in that gray area to get you the capital that you need. And even more important, you need to really structure your NAICS code, or just have the correct NAICS code correctly. Sorry, it's like a tongue twister sometimes. I don't know. Because the NAICS code officially tells the lenders what industry that you're actively in. So if your NAICS code is anything similar to 531210 for real estate investment, that's another automatic strike and denial. You don't want that, okay? So even if you have a generic name, a risky NAICS code will still get you denied. It's still screaming, hey, I'm still in the real estate game. Please deny me. All right. So you need to choose an NAICS code that falls into a safer category. Something more broad, something like, I'm not a fan of it, but I'm just saying, like consulting, business management, because technically you are managing, your real estate development, all right? Or general services. You're doing general services for your long-term, short-term rentals, all right? I'm not telling you to lie, but you're really just playing within that gray area. Now, hold on. For all of my people that are saying, I'm just going to go ahead and start a brand new LLC, I don't, just want you to just jump up and do that either. Because I know some of you are thinking, I'm just going to get a brand new LLC and immediately go apply for $100,000 in capital. That's another mistake, all right? Please don't do that. The reason why is because what I've been getting from all of my bank connections, because they always give me information, is, banks are moving away from super new, entities. They are. And I'm talking about, entities that just opened up yesterday, entities that just opened up 5 months ago, 6 months ago, and some entities that just opened up a year ago. because brand new entities with zero history doesn't always, pay the bills. It doesn't get you high limits anymore like it used to. Okay. So what I normally do with my clients is I either use an existing LLC or I get them an age corporation or an age entity. Basically with the age corporation, that's what's going to give you something, with a little legwork that's been around for at least a few years old. So now you already check that box as far as it's not a brand new entity. That way there's history behind the name, and that history builds trust with the banks. Okay. So that means that you can combine your clean personal credit and a safe business profile. Okay. So now you'll be able to position yourself to get the capital, aka the business funding. Now, let me give you a real life example as far as this situation, because it hits close to home. Because one of my clients' name was Gabriel, and he came up to me, a while ago, and he's in the fix and flip business. Okay. Of course, real estate. And he needed over $110,000 in capital for a project that he was trying to do. His LLC was, clearly high risk. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but it did have real estate plastered all over the name. His personal credit score was around like a 670, I think. It was like a 670. And he had like a few late payments on his credit report. And on paper, lenders they weren't going to touch him. And I know they weren't going to touch him because he tried to get funding before he even came to me. And the only thing that he got was, I think, $8,000 on the business side. If I'm not mistaken, I think he got $8,000 from like American Express or something like that. It was it was American Express. It was the blue business cash card. So when he clicked the link below, when he signed up for that consultation, he got signed up. I said, look, the first thing we're going to have to do is build a action plan. And once we built the action plan, the next thing that we did is we're going to have to clean up this personal credit report, remove those late payments and everything else that was bringing down his utilization to bring up his score and also improve his credit profile. Okay. No matter how you twist and turn it, you're always going to have to clean your personal credit because you're in the business of small business until you generate $4 to $10 million in revenue. Until then, personal credit, PG all the way. Now, once all those late payments were off, everything was good, and he was at a 700 plus credit score with a great credit profile, the next thing that I did is set him up with an age corporation that already had years of history. I also made sure that it had a generic name and it was safe. No tax liens, no cease and desist, nothing like that, and a low-risk NAICS code. Now, once all that was done, we ran that business through my proven funding and capital strategy, and within a few weeks, Gabriel was able to secure $182,000 in capital on the personal and business side. That nearly doubled what he originally needed, and it happened because we eliminated every single red flag from his credit profile. I'll tell you right now, he did not want to let go of that LLC because it was one of his first ever LLCs, but I told him, if you trust me, we will make sure that we get you the funding, and we delivered. Okay, so if he can do it, you can do the same exact thing. So let's go ahead and recap. If you're using your personal credit to grow your real estate business, you're probably crushing your credit utilization if you're doing it incorrectly. Now, I know there's going to be some outliers, but I'm talking about the ones that don't know what they're doing. And underwriters will see you as risky. Even if you fix that, you got to make sure that your business name and NAICS code does not scream, I am a real estate investor, okay? Because you will be denied. The solution to this is to lower your personal utilization under 10%, having a generic business name, and select a safe NAICS code. And if needed, move into an age corporation entity that already has the credibility so you don't have to open a brand new LLC because you kind of messed up the old one. And I'm talking about if you don't want to change, your business name and you're like, shoot, I need to change my business name, but it's only like a year old, so I definitely need to pivot somewhere else. Do that, and you're not just applying for funding and capital, you're actually positioning yourself to get approved for maximum amounts of funding and capital. Now, I know a lot of you are looking at this like, man, that sounds great, that sounds awesome, but I don't know how to start. So just listen to me. So all of my new and even experienced real estate investors that's looking to get capital for your deals, whether it's for fix and flips, long-term, short-term rentals, materials for contractors, you name it, what I want you to do is click the link below right now to schedule your funding consultation with me. Because what we're going to do is map out your real estate funding strategy so you can stop getting denied and start moving your business forward. So what I want you to do is click the link below right now to schedule that call, and I promise you it's going to be life-changing so you can scale to the moon. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I really hope that this helps one of you guys, and I really hope that you real estate investors right now utilize this and scale to the moon. Again, I want to thank you guys for stopping by, and until next time, ladies and gents.